My dear beloved, hush the noise now. Come close. This isn't just another word. This is a summons. We stand at the edge of something holy. July 12th isn't just a date, it's a doorway. And through it flows power, wisdom, and promise. I speak today of salt not just for seasoning, but for sanctifying. Salt that guards, that grounds, that glorifies the space you call home. With every grain, a prayer. With every placement, a prophecy. So listen, child, not just with your ears but with your spirit. For this is sacred ground, and salt is speaking. The call to spirit, my dear beloved, come in close now. Yes, just like that. Draw near with your ears, but more so with your heart. I don't speak lightly, and surely, I don't speak without purpose. What you're about to hear is not simply information, it's invitation. Not instruction, but awakening. For we are not just gathered in body, we are gathered in spirit, in hope, and in holy remembrance that this is not the kind of moment you rush through. No, child, this is the kind of moment you bow into, because what I'm about to speak of is older than tradition and deeper than doctrine. It is simple, yet sovereign. Salt. Yes. Salt. Not the kind that just rests in your cupboard or seasons your stew. I'm talking about the kind of salt that seasons your soul. The salt that remembers. The salt that protects. The salt that purifies and prospers, you see. Long before there were degrees and diagnoses, long before contracts and counseling, there was salt. Long before the world became loud with opinions and logic and credentials, the old ones, the wise ones, had their ways. They didn't have the riches of the earth, but they carried the wisdom of heaven in their bones. And they knew, somehow, what modern minds have forgotten. Salt carries power. Salt carries memory. Salt carries spirit. They would take it in hands, calloused by labor and love, whisper prayers over it, quiet, trembling words. Words not always fancy, but always full of fire, and they would place it with intention. In corners, on doorsteps, in thresholds and behind beds. Not to flavor the food, no, but to fortify the faith. To mark territory not with chalk or ink, but with heaven's hush. Salt was never superstition for them. It was sacred technology, an act of alignment, a declaration that, here, Lord, is where I live. Here is where you reign. And now, child, I speak to you, because we are standing on the edge of something holy. A day is approaching. A date on the calendar, yes, but far more than that. July 12th. Mark it, circle it, bless it. For on that day, a window opens in the heavens. A sacred portal, a divine invitation. A moment where the veil thins and the distance between the seen and unseen disappears. A day kissed by God's timing. A day where heaven bends low to touch the earth, to touch you. And on that day, I ask you, I urge you not to scroll past this moment, not to shake your head and say maybe next time. No, on July 12th, take the salt with reverence. Take it with prayer. Take it as one carrying the mantle of your mothers, your grandmothers, your ancestors, and place it, yes, physically. Place it in 5 sacred rooms of your home. Place it not because it's pretty, not because it's popular, but because it's prophetic. This act is not about decoration. It's about declaration. It's a bold announcement to the universe that prosperity knows my name, protection lives at my address, peace walks my halls, and no weapon formed against me shall prevail. Let this act be a line in the sand. Let it be your yes to God's whisper. Let it be your way of saying, I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds my tomorrow, and I claim my ground. Because this, my dear one, is not about salt alone. This is about spiritual stewardship, about choosing to see your home not just as shelter, but as sanctuary, about moving through your space with intention, with authority, and with a heart full of holy fire. Now I know what some may say. They'll say, it's just salt. But baby, it's never just salt when it's prayed over. It's never just salt when it's placed with faith. It becomes an agent of heaven, a symbol of covenant, a container for presence. It becomes what your spirit makes it. Remember this, God has always worked through the simple. It was a staff in Moses' hand, a slingshot in David's, a jar of oil in the widow's house. And now it is salt in yours. Don't despise the small. Don't overlook the lowly, because what seems insignificant to the eye is often irreplaceable. In the spirit, on July 12th, you are not just doing an act, you are sending a signal to heaven, to hell, to every force watching you in silence. You are saying, I know who I am, I know who I belong to, and I know that this house is under new management, kingdom management. You are reminding yourself that you are not powerless, that you don't need to wait for permission to protect your peace, that you don't need a title to take spiritual authority. Your child are the keeper of your home's atmosphere, and every grain of salt is a sermon, every pinch is a proclamation. And listen to me now, when you do this, the angels take notice. Yes, beloved, heaven honors obedience, not just the loud hallelujahs, but the quiet steps, the intentional actions, the placing of salt by hands that believe. And when you do it, when you walk to each room, heart open, hands trembling, spirit sturdier, not just copying a practice, you are entering a covenant, a divine partnership, a soul agreement that says, Lord, I trust you in the invisible, I trust you in the ordinary, I trust you in the salt. Now let me speak truth into your weary places. You may be tired, you may feel broken. You may have walked through battles that left you bruised, but child, you are still anointed. You are still called. You are still worthy of a home drenched in peace, saturated in protection, overflowing with favor and salt. Salt remembers that. So go on. Prepare your heart. Gather your salt. Light your candle if you must. Sing your song. Hum the hymn your grandmother used to hum while she swept the porch and whispered to God. Let every action become altar. Let every grain be glory, because on July 12th heaven will lean in. And when it finds your home, let it find salt at the threshold, salt in the corners, salt on assignment. Let it find a believer who did not just hope for peace but prepared for it. Let it find a child of God who did not just speak of faith but acted in it. This is your sacred moment. This is your spiritual appointment. This is your holy invitation to move in alignment with the divine. So come. Come barefoot, come broken, come bold, but come ready, because what begins with a handful of salt will end with showers of blessing. You are not alone in this. Heaven is watching. Your ancestors are. Whispering, the Spirit is hovering, and God is waiting for your yes. Let it begin. Let it be marked. Let it be done. The front door, asterisk, asterisk, come closer now. Yes, right there. Let your spirit lean in. Let your distractions fall away. Let your soul take its seat at this sacred table, because what I'm about to speak is not soft, it's sovereign. It's not suggestion. It's strategy. We begin where everything begins. At the door. The front door of your home is more than brick and frame, more than hinges and hardware. It is the mouth of your house, the gatekeeper, the guardpost. It is both boundary and bridge, the line where the outside world ends and your inner sanctuary begins. And child, that threshold is not just wood or stone. It is spiritual. It is symbolic. It is a place of warfare and welcome, of decisions and destiny. You see, everything that wants to come into your life, every person, every energy, every opportunity or opposition, must first come through the door. It's where peace is either welcomed or blocked. It's where blessings knock and curses try to creep. And it's where you must take your stand. I need you to hear me deep now, not with your ears, but with your discernment. Because not everything that knocks deserves to be let in. Not every smiling face is sent by heaven. Not every opportunity is laced with favor. Some things, some people, some energies come dressed in light, but carry darkness. And they try to enter unaware, through casual greetings and careless openness, but no more. On July 12th, when the heavens lean in and the spirit world turns its gaze toward your life, you will anoint your doorway. You will claim your threshold. You will place salt, not in fear, but in faith, like the warriors and prophets before you. Because the front door is not just entry, it's authority. Let me teach you. Take a small amount of salt, a pinch in your hand, or a humble bowl by the door. It doesn't need to be seen, it only needs to be spoken over. As you hold it, lift your voice, not in whisper, but in declaration. Say something like, let no evil pass through this way. Let no harm cross this line. May every person who enters this space be met with light, with truth, with love, or be turned away by the Spirit of the Lord. This door is not open to chaos. This door is not open to curses. Only goodness and mercy shall pass through here. You speak it, not timidly, but like one who knows who they are. You speak as a child of the Most High, as a keeper of covenant, as a priest in your own home, because you are not a victim of whatever comes. You are the vessel of what stays. Place the salt in the corners of your doorway. Tuck it near the mat. Let it rest quietly, unbothered by how it looks, because salt doesn't need to be seen to serve. It doesn't need to shine to shield. It just needs to be placed in purpose on. Oh, how it works. That salt, when prayed over, becomes a barrier, a boundary, and a blessing. It begins filtering everything that tries to enter, not just bodies, but intentions. It begins separating the genuine from the manipulative, the peaceful from the parasitic. It discerns before you even speak. It sees what your eyes cannot. And when someone with jealousy in their heart steps to your door, the salt resists. When bitterness comes cloaked in a compliment, the salt absorbs the poison before it can cross the line. When spirits of confusion or heaviness try to hover near, the salt draws the line. Not here, not this house, not this child of God. You may not see it in the physical, but beloved, you will feel it. You'll feel the peace linger longer. You'll feel the chaos grow uncomfortable. You'll see some people stop visiting. Don't mourn. That rejoice, that's not rejection, that's refinement. That's the salt doing what prayer told it to do. And if you ever doubt its power, remember this: the enemy watches your house too, just like the angels do. But when the salt is placed, when the prayers are spoken, when your home is cloaked in holy covering, even Satan himself must walk the long way round, because he finds no open door here, no crack of permission, no welcome mat laid out for wickedness. You have declared this entrance to be guarded, and heaven responds to that decree. The angels take their post, the Spirit rests, and your home becomes not just a dwelling, but a domain of divine peace. And child, don't you ever underestimate what a guarded threshold can do, because doors are not just physical, they are spiritual. Every door you open in life, relation, financially, emotionally, echoes the condition of your spiritual doorway. So when you sanctify your front door, you're also sanctifying every yes and every no you will speak this year. You are saying, God, let every door I walk through this year be led by your hand. Let no counterfeit blessing fool me. Let no man-made success seduce me. Let no opportunity outside of your will distract me. Only the door you open, Lord, that's the one I will walk through. That's what this salt says. That's what this prayer does. It doesn't just protect, it positions. It doesn't just block, it blesses. It becomes your first line of defense and your first line of destiny. So stand tall, beloved, at your doorway with salt in your hand and faith in your heart. Declare who you are and whose you are, because when you do, your front door becomes a portal of peace, a gate of grace, a beacon for blessings, and a barrier to harm. Place that salt, pray that prayer, and then rest, because the Holy Spirit now guards what you've surrendered, and what enters your home must first pass through your faith. The kitchen asterisk, yes, beloved, walk with me now. Step gently, but boldly, into the room where fire meets flesh, where hunger meets hope, where empty pots become holy altars. That we are in the kitchen now, but this is no ordinary space. This is not just the room where meals are made. This is where miracles are stirred, where the prayers of your grandmothers rise like steam, where provision answers the knock of faith. Come closer, child. Let me remind you that the kitchen is the heartbeat of the house. It is the womb of warmth, the place where hands labor so hearts can rest. It is where struggle gets softened by spices, where lack gets loosed in the sizzle of obedience, and where salty as salt becomes more than seasoning. It becomes a sacrifice. In this room, the sacred and the simple dance daily. Bread becomes blessing, rice becomes reassurance, and salt becomes a sign that in this house there will always be enough. Listen now. Salt in the kitchen is not placed for taste alone. It is placed for testimony. It is a whisper to the spirit world that says, scarcity, you are not welcome here. Starvation, you have no seat at this table. The God of more than enough reigns in this house, because this is where provision turns prophetic. This is where the widow's oil kept pouring. This is where 5 loaves fed thousands. This is where God time and again proved himself faithful over fire and flour. So I say to you now, place your salt in the kitchen like a priest preparing the altar, not carelessly, not casually, but with clarity, with conviction. Find a corner or a quiet place on the shelf, maybe near your flour, near your oil, near your daily bread. Let the salt sit in silence, but know, its presence speaks volumes. It says every meal in this house will nourish more than the body. It will nourish the soul. Every ingredient, no matter how humble, will be multiplied by grace. This kitchen shall never run dry. This pot shall never be empty. This house shall never know shame at the table. Because, beloved, provision is not about plenty. It's about presence. It's about knowing that even when the shelves are low, the spirit is high. Even when the ingredients are few, the anointing is full. Let this salt remind you in every hungry spirit that tries to knock that the God who fed your ancestors still feeds you today. Do you know the strength it took for your great-grandmother to stretch 1 onion and 2 potatoes into a feast? Do you feel the echoes of gratitude in the way she stirred that pot, whispering, "Thank you, Lord"? Anyway, that was worship. That was warfare. That was wisdom handed down in silence. And now, you carry it. Now you place your salt not just for today's meal, but for tomorrow's miracles. You place it with the knowing that even in inflation, in lack, in layoffs, in not enough, the table shall still be set, the fire shall still be lit, and heaven shall still provide. Because in this house, food is not just cooked, it is consecrated. And when you stir your spoon, stir in strength, stir in joy, stir in prayers. Speak as you stir, declare as you chop, prophesy as you boil. Bless this meal, Lord. Multiply it. Let it carry healing. Let it carry laughter. Let no bitterness enter this broth. Let no division sit at this table. Let each bite be a sermon of grace. Because, beloved, food in your home is not just for the stomach, it is for the spirit. It heals arguments, it quiets anxiety. It reminds you, even when life feels torn, that some things still hold, like family, like peace, like presence around the table. So as you place your salt in this room, I ask you, place it as a prophetic act, a holy seed of sufficiency, a declaration that as long as I live and serve, this house will taste of God's goodness. Let the aroma of your meals be the aroma of enough. Let your leftovers be holy. Let the pots clatter with praise. Let the salt remind every power watching that this house shall feast even in famine. And yes, some days will be simple. Some meals will be small. But don't you ever mistake simplicity for scarcity. Don't you ever let the enemy lie and say, this isn't abundance. Because where there is peace, where there is warmth, where there is even a shared cup of tea over honest conversation, that is overflow, that is Eden in your kitchen. So go now and place that salt. Place it in the name of the one who fed multitudes with less. Place it with the boldness of the matriarchs who refused to panic, even when the pantry echoed back empty. Place it as one who understands. You don't cook alone. You don't serve alone. You don't feed this house alone. God is in the kitchen with you in every slice, in every sip, in every silent thanksgiving you whisper when no one sees. Let the salt stay as witness, as ward, as worship, and then, child, keep cooking, keep blessing, keep believing, because your kitchen is not just a room, it is the altar of daily miracles. And as long as salt stands watch, lack shall not linger. The bedroom asterisk, come now, darling. Step lightly, let your spirit take a breath, let your shoulders drop, and your thoughts soften. We are entering the room where the world grows quiet, where the noise of the day is hushed, and the battles of that outside world dare not enter. This right here is your bedroom. But more than just a place for sleep, this is your sanctuary, your sacred chamber, your holy hush. Yes, child, the bedroom is not simply where the body lies down. It is where the soul exhales. It is where the heart mends. It is where your spirit meets the silence and says, I made it through another day. You see, rest is not just recovery, it is revelation. It is not weakness, it is warfare. And that's why the enemy comes hardest at night. That's why, when the world grows still, your thoughts grow loud. That's why, even with the door locked and lights off, you sometimes feel like the night is too heavy to carry. But not anymore, not after this. Because tonight, you reclaim your room, you rededicate it, you reclaim it as your holy ground. And, child, you do it with something simple, something sacred. Salt. Take it gently in your hands, beloved, a pinch, a handful, a pouch, not for seasoning, for shielding, not for superstition, but for spiritual alignment. Place that salt beneath your bed, maybe tucked into a corner under the frame, maybe beneath the mattress, maybe in a small cloth at the head of your bed, wherever you feel led. You don't need anyone to see it, heaven already does. Because this salt is not silent. It may not speak in words, but in the spirit realm it roars. It says, this room is protected. This space is claimed. No fear may sleep here. No nightmare may cross this threshold. No spirit of heaviness may rest on this pillow. Child, do you know how precious your rest is? Do you know how sacred your sleep becomes when it is covered in prayer? You don't lay down just to be still. You lay down to be restored, to be healed, to be renewed from the inside out. And so the salt stands guard. While you sleep, it watches. While you dream, it protects. While your eyes close, it remains awake. It becomes your silent warrior. It becomes the barrier between your rest and every restless spirit that would try to interrupt it. Let me remind you, not all battles come with noise. Some come wrapped in whispers. Whispers of regret. Whispers of fear. Whispers of you're not enough. Of you failed. Of you'll never heal. But when you place that salt, those voices lose their power. The atmosphere begins to shift. The air becomes light again. The room becomes holy again. Because you are not just protecting your sleep, you are protecting the gateway to your soul. Me tell you what your ancestors knew. They may not have had therapists. They may not have known the word trauma, but they knew something deep, something divine. They knew the bedroom was vulnerable. They knew the night was sacred. So they covered their rest in prayer. They anointed their pillows with tears. They hummed hymns into the walls. And yes, they placed salt at the foot of their bed. They weren't afraid. They were aware. They weren't superstitious. They were spiritually responsible. And now it is your turn to pick up that mantle, to remember the ancient wisdom, to reclaim the night. Before you lay down tonight, stand at the edge of your bed. Yes, stand like a queen in her castle, like a prophet at her altar, like a warrior declaring peace in her territory. Take a moment, close your eyes, and speak not to the air, but to the spirit, to the energy of the room, to the salt in your hand. Say, this room is mine. It is not for panic. It is not for pain. It is for rest. It is for renewal. I lay down not just my body, but my burdens. I surrender not just my thoughts, but my fears. No shame sleeps beside me. No grief crawls beneath my sheets. I am covered. I am kept. I am held in the arms of peace. You don't need fancy words. Just faith. Just truth. Just the sound of a soul choosing peace over panic. Because salt doesn't just protect. It absorbs. It draws out what shouldn't stay. It catches the tears you didn't even know were falling. It pulls the poison from your thoughts like balm for the weary. And it does it without praise, without spotlight, just like grace does. You've had nights where your sleep was broken, where your spirit tossed and turned, where dreams became battlegrounds, where memories climbed into bed with you uninvited. But tonight will be different. Tonight, your room is claimed, the salt has spoken, the angels have been called, and yes, child, they come quietly, not with trumpets, but with tenderness. They wrap themselves around your bed like golden thread. They whisper lullabies in the language of heaven. They hold you like light. And the darkness cannot stay. So when you lie down, beloved, let go. Let go of what didn't get done. Let go of what hurt. Let go of what haunts you. Let the salt hold it for you. Let God carry it the rest of the way. You are not being weak. You are being wise. You are not giving up. You are giving in to rest, to healing, to wholeness. And when the morning comes, you will wake not just rested, but renewed. You will rise not just lighter, but lifted, because your bedroom became your sanctuary. Because you chose peace over panic. Because you dared to rest like you are loved and beloved you are. So place that salt, close those eyes, pull the covers up to your chin, and breathe, knowing that your rest is guarded by grace. and your dreams are held in the hands of God. The bathroom ***, come closer, child. Yes, you. Don't look away. Don't shrink back. This part of the journey may be tender, but it is necessary. Let me take your hand and guide you into a room most people overlook. A space seldom seen as holy, but one of the most honest rooms in the house, the bathroom. Now wait. Before you raise an eyebrow or laugh at the thought, hear me with your spirit. God doesn't just move in grand sanctuaries. He's not only found where candles flicker and choirs sing. He walks where water runs. He visits the places where masks come off, where the soul sighs, and where the body releases what it no longer needs. This room, beloved, is not just where you clean yourself. It is where you shed, where you weep, where you look in the mirror and face your full self. Tired, human, beautiful, burdened, and beloved, this room is sacred. Not because it is elegant, but because it is essential. This is the place of release. And release, child, is holy, you see. Salt belongs here too, not just at the door or the kitchen or beneath your bed, but right here, where shame often lingers. Right here, where fear tries to whisper in the quiet moments. Right here, where the world has taught you to carry more than your soul can hold. This is the room where tears fall into sinks, where prayers are mouthed silently behind closed doors, where some of your most private battles are fought, and where some of your greatest releases happen, whether through water, through weeping, or through weary surrender. And that's exactly why the salt must come in. Place it softly, discreetly, tucked behind the toilet, resting by the bathtub, sitting near the sink, or hidden in a pouch on a shelf. It does not need to be seen to do its work. It simply needs to be present. Because salt, blessed prayer-soaked, salt is a spiritual sponge. It absorbs the heaviness you didn't even know you were carrying, the grief stuck behind your ribs, the anger clenched in your jaw, the shame that clings like steam on a mirror. Let the salt take it. Let it sit there in silent authority. Let it absorb what you cannot articulate. Let it cleanse the space where you break down and begin again. Because this room, the bathroom, is where transformation begins. You enter with burdens. You leave a little lighter. You enter with guilt. You leave wrapped in grace. Child, some of your deepest healing will happen in here. Not on a stage, not in a therapist's chair, not even in a worship service, but right here, barefoot, on tile, brushing your teeth with tears in your eyes, or crying quietly as the shower hides your sobs. This is where heaven meets honesty. This is where God leans in and says, "Give it to me, let it go. You don't have to carry that into tomorrow." So I say to you now, place that salt with intention. Place it as a ritual of release. Say something like, "In this room, I let go. I release comparison. I release shame. I release the fear that tells me I'm not enough. I release the lie that says I must be strong all the time." You don't need fancy words, child. You need a truthful heart. God isn't impressed with performance. He moves when we're real. Every time you wash your face, say, "This is more than water. This is renewal." When you rinse your hands, declare, "What has passed through me will not remain in me." When you dry your body, whisper, "I am not what I survived. I am what I'm becoming." Let that salt stay close. Let it catch what you can't name. Let it do the quiet work of spiritual detox. Because the bathroom is not just for the physical. It is for the emotional. It is for the energetic. It is where the soul lets go. And beloved, we all need a place to let go. You see, the enemy loves to speak when we're vulnerable, when we stand exposed in front of mirrors, when our body is tired and our guard is down. He whispers, "You're too much. You're not enough. You'll never change." But the salt, that white, sacred warrior, it intercepts the lie. It soaks it up. It says, "Not here. Not today. This soul is protected. This body is holy. This release is righteous." Even your crying is a kind of cleansing. Even your stillness is a kind of strength. You are not weak for breaking down. You are wise for letting go. You are not a failure for needing a moment. You are faithful for making space to heal. Place that salted. Know this. Every drip of water can be a baptism. Every flush, a flushing out of fear. Every rinse, a reclaiming of your peace. And when the tears come, the big shoulder-shaking ones that soak your shirt, don't you dare hide them. Let them fall, let them cleanse, let them be received by the same God who catches every drop, because He sees you in this room. He hears the whispered, "I'm tired." He knows the battles behind the brave face, and He shows up here, not in judgment but with gentle mercy. So go now, child. Take the salt, place it with prayer, and say with boldness, "This room is holy." Not because it's perfect, but because it's true. Here I release. Here I let go. Here I am met by a grace that says, "I'll carry it from here." And every time you step out of that room, may you feel a little freer, a little clearer, a little more whole. This is the ministry of the mundane, the miracle in the ordinary, the holiness of the hidden. The bathroom is not just a room of release, it is a room of resurrection. And salt, silent, steady, sacred, is its gatekeeper. The living room ***. Come now, child, walk with me slow. Let's step gently into the place where time stretches itself out, where stories find their voice, where hearts gather without needing invitation. This room, beloved, this is the living room. Don't let the ordinary name fool you. There is nothing common about this space. This is not just where couches sit and coffee tables hold cups. This is where life lives loud and soft, broken and blessed, where the sun creeps in on tired mornings, and laughter echoes from the walls like prayer. This, child, is the heart of your home, and hearts must be guarded, not out of fear, but out of wisdom, not with suspicion, but with sacred intention. And so yes, even here, even in this gathering ground of joy and weariness alike, you must place the salt. Let me tell you why. Because every house holds energy. Every room has a rhythm, and the living room, it hums with the pulse of everything that's ever passed through it. Conversations kind and cruel, news good and devastating, jokes, confessions, arguments, reconciliations, they all live here, they leave traces. And unless we cleanse that energy, unless we anoint the space, we allow the weight of yesterday to sit with us like an uninvited guest. So take your salt humble, pure, quiet as a whisper, and walk to the four corners, and then don't forget the fifth place, the center, the unseen corner where spirit settles, where tension hides beneath rugs, where memory lingers in the air like perfume. Place the salt with intention. Sprinkle it in bowls behind the couch, under a chair, beneath a rug, or simply in the open if that's how your spirit leads. And as you do, speak. Say, this room is covered, this space is claimed. Let peace take root here. Let every spirit that enters be filtered by grace. May joy linger long, and sorrow be given a door through which to exit. No chaos shall nest in this place. No bitterness shall find a home. This is sacred ground. You see, salt in the living room is not decoration, it is declaration. It says, I choose peace here. It says, I will not allow the outside world to dictate the spirit inside these walls. It says, this space will not carry what God has called me to lay down. Have you ever walked into a room and felt heavy for no reason? Felt anxious, irritable, drained? It wasn't your imagination, child. Your spirit knows what your mind has yet to name. That room was holding residue, energy, emotion, memory, and it clung to you like dust. Salt knows how to sift that dust. It absorbs what doesn't belong. It filters what cannot stay. It holds the boundary between your spirit and the spirits that enter with others, because not everyone who crosses your threshold comes in peace. Some come smiling but storming on the inside. Some bring gossip, jealousy, judgment, masked as small talk and fake concern. And without salt, those spirits settle. They tuck themselves into corners. They ride on the backs of laughter and live long after the people leave. But salt-blessed, prayed-over, faith-filled salt draws a line. It says, this far and no further. It says, only what serves this home may stay. The rest must go. And it's not just about protecting from others. Sometimes, you walk into your own living room carrying a heavy load. Grief on your shoulders, worry in your hands, disappointment in your chest. Salt meets you there too, not to judge, but to help carry the weight. It whispers, lay it down here, child. You don't have to hold it all. You don't have to smile through it. You don't have to perform peace when your heart is breaking. That salt becomes your silent counselor. It listens without speaking. It holds your emotions like offerings. It purifies the air so your prayers don't get lost in the fog of pain. And child, let me tell you, the living room is a prophetic space. Because this is where generations gather. This is where your children learn how to speak, how to listen, how to feel. This is where healing begins, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, in the passing of a cup, in the reaching out of a hand, in the pause between words. So when you place that salt, you are not just protecting your present, you are preparing your future. You are making room for reconciliation. You are clearing space for miracles. You are telling God, this room is yours. Let it be a place where forgiveness finds its voice, where love doesn't hide, where peace settles deep in the cushions and makes a home of its own. This is how homes become healing places, not by the absence of hardship, but by the presence of intentional peace. So go ahead, beloved, light a candle if you feel led. Sing a hymn if your heart remembers one. Let your feet walk slow and let your soul rise tall. Place a salt like a priest consecrating a temple, because that's what you are doing. And when it's done, when the corners are covered and the center is claimed, sit down, not just to rest your body, but to rest in the truth that you have sanctified your space. You have said no to chaos. You have said yes to calm. Because salt, though silent, speaks volumes in the spirit realm. It says, this home is anchored, this atmosphere is aligned, this heart of the house is whole. So let it sit, let it do its work. And every time you welcome someone in, whether joy or sorrow, laughter or lament, let the energy of this space speak first. Let it say, you are safe here. You are seen. You are surrounded by the unseen power of peace, protection, and presence. This is the living room, child. And it is now more than just a place to sit. It is a sanctuary of the spirit, salted, sealed, and sacred. The final blessing, asterisk. Now, child, stand still a moment. Let the hush fall over your spirit like a warm shawl drawn over tired shoulders. Let the silence speak. Let your breath soften. Let your soul catch up with your body. Because what you have done, what you have dared to do, is no small act. You've walked room by room, altar by altar, memory by memory. with nothing more than salt in your hand and faith in your heart. You have declared war on every unseen enemy and declared peace over every corner of your life. You have become the keeper of sacred space, the guardian of atmosphere, the priest of your own home. And now, baby, it is time to seal it. Time to wrap the entire house in a final prayer, not in fear, but in fierce faith. To call upon heaven one last time like the old mothers did, those who could barely read the Bible, but knew how to bleed prayer through their bones. It's time to speak as one who knows the power of alignment. Let's go over it now, one last time. Not as repetition, but as remembrance. In the front entrance you placed salt, a boundary line, a holy gate. You stood like a watchman on the wall, and said, "No harm shall enter here. This door swings only for joy and divine direction." You turned your threshold into a battleground for blessings. Then, in the kitchen, you placed salt again. You whispered over the stove and pantry and fridge, "Let provision flow, let lack flee, let every meal carry the seasoning of praise." You claimed abundance, not in excess, but in gratitude. You declared that no one who eats in this house shall eat in fear. In the bedroom you folded salt into the silence, tucked it near the mattress like a secret prayer, and you said, "Let rest be restored, let the weary soul be wrapped in holy stillness." You claimed sleep as sacred. You laid down worry like a heavy robe and picked up peace like a promise. In the bathroom you placed salt near pipes and drains, and you said, "What I release here shall not return." Guilt has no echo, shame has no home. You made the act of letting go a liturgy. You baptized your burdens in the name of grace. And then in the living room, the heart of the house where the days gather themselves like wildflowers, you anointed each corner and center and said, "Let joy be thick, let sorrow pass, let this space remember only love." You turned wood and cushion and quiet moments into sanctuary. You've done the work, baby. You've walked in obedience. Now, lift your chin, roll your shoulders back, and take your rightful place as the one who stands between what is and what shall not be. Let's bless this home in full *, Heavenly Creator, Divine One who dwells not just in temples, but in kitchens, in doorways, in the quiet places where we cry. We invite you now to make this house your dwelling place. Come, Holy Spirit, stretch out in every corner. Let angels walk the halls like guardians in white. Let peace sit on the windowsills. Let protection wrap this roof like a shield. I declare that this home is covered in grace, covered in glory, covered in salt and sacred surrender. No weapon formed shall prosper here. No spirit of chaos shall linger. No storm shall shake these walls without passing through the fire of my faith. Every threshold is anointed. Every corner is claimed. Every shadow is exposed to light. I speak to the foundation, be strong. To the walls, hold steady. To the air, be clean. To the spirit of this place, align with heaven. This is not just a house. This is a dwelling of destiny. A place where children shall grow in safety. Where laughter will return after tears. Where healing shall outnumber harm. Let no argument last long here. Let forgiveness move fast. Let love fill every seat, even the empty ones. Let every visitor leave lighter than they came. And when I sleep, may angels take watch like on duty. May they catch every tear I forget to cry. And may they sing over me songs my ancestors used to hum. Let the salt stay quiet and faithful. Let it hold its silent vigil in every room, a spiritual sponge soaking up sorrow, a filter catching fear, a barrier where blessings pass but burdens must turn around. This home is sealed now, not with superstition, but with sacred strategy, not in ritual, but in revelation, not in fear, but in fierce knowing that I am co-creating with the divine. And now, I leave this final word in the walls. Peace, be still. Blessings flow freely, evil turn back. This house belongs to God. * Now baby. Put the salt down one last time. Take a deep breath. Walk through your home with new eyes, not of worry but of wonder, because something has shifted. The spirit realm knows it. You know it. You don't need oil on the walls to feel it. You don't need incense or chanting or elaborate rituals. You just need what you already had, faith, authority, and a handful of holy salt. So now sit down, not just to rest your body but to rest in the promise. Your house is now sealed. Your atmosphere has been claimed, and heaven knows your address, and that, beloved, is enough. ***. The Afterglow. ***. Now hush, yes baby. Just hush for a moment. Let the quiet speak, let the stillness stretch its arms. You've done the work. You've walked through the home not just with salt in your hand, but with God in your spirit. This is the Afterglow. This is the holy hush after the Amen. Now sit down, child. Not just to rest your bones, but to rest in your belief. Rest in what you've placed. Rest in what you've prayed. Rest in the truth that something powerful has shifted, whether you can see it or not. Because faith, sugar, is not always loud. It doesn't always come with thunder or shouting or tongues of fire. Sometimes faith is soft. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's just salt in a corner and a heart that says, I believe. That's where you are now, in the sacred after, in the peace that follows obedience. You've invited God into your home, not with fanfare, but with faith. And oh, how heaven loves that. The angels, baby, they heard you. Every grain you dropped, Every word you whispered, every breath you took as you moved through the rooms with reverence, it echoed in the spirit realm like a holy bell. And now that it's done, now that every threshold has been marked, every space has been claimed, every prayer has been poured, you are not empty, you are full, you are not exposed, you are covered, you are not waiting, you are resting in the assurance that God does not overlook faith placed in action. This is not the kind of rest that comes from a nap, no, this is deeper than sleep. This is the rest of a spirit that knows it's held. This is the rest that comes after obedience. This is the deep exhale of someone who stood in their authority and said, "Not today, devil, not in my house." Now look around, softly that door. It's more than wood now. It's a watchtower. That kitchen, it's more than pots and pans. It's a sanctuary of sustenance. That bedroom, it's more than a bed. It's a refuge where angels wrap themselves around your dreams. That bathroom, that's no longer just for washing. It's where you shed shame like old skin and rose again. And that living room, child, that's the holy ground where laughter, love, and light will linger long after you've left the room. So sit, soak, let the salt do what it does best, work in silence, hold what you can't, and shield you with quiet strength. You may not feel fireworks, you may not hear trumpets, but you will notice the atmosphere is lighter, the air feels clean, peace has taken up residence like an old friend coming home. And you, beloved, you can breathe now. You don't have to earn protection. You don't have to fight to be seen. You have already been heard, already been covered, already been claimed. Yes, child, the battle was fought in the placing. The victory is in the believing. You didn't do this for show. You did it because something ancient and wise inside you whispered, "It's time to protect what's mine. It's time to declare peace in my dwelling. It's time to call the angels home." And now they have come. Not with blinding light, but with warmth. Not with thunder, but with stillness. They're here, in the corners of your rooms, in the hush of your home, in the calm of your chest, as you sit with this knowing. You are safe, you are seen, you are sealed. This afterglow, baby, is holy. It's the presence of God settling in, like a warm blanket, like golden oil over a wound, like sunlight after a storm. Let this be your prayer now. I receive what I have spoken, I welcome what I have made room for, I rest in what I know to be true. My home is blessed, my heart is full, my spirit is at peace. Say it again if you must, whisper it while the salt holds watch. Let it be your lullaby tonight and your anthem tomorrow. This, child, is what alignment feels like. It doesn't always look like miracles overnight, but it feels like stability, like clarity, like grace showing up in ordinary moments, like laughter without weight, like sleep without fear, like walking into your home and knowing the air is different because you made it different. So go ahead, pour yourself some tea, light a candle, put your feet up. You've planted seeds in the spirit, and the harvest, oh, it's coming. It's already begun. Every corner speaks, every grain sings, and you are the reason. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. Not because you knew every scripture, but because you acted on one word. Believe. So rest. Now, not in worry, but in wonder. Rest like one who knows they are covered. Rest like one who knows the angels heard. Rest like one who knows the salt is doing its work even while they sleep, because it is. Because heaven saw. Because the work is done. You are sealed, child, and now you can simply be. Now that the salt is placed, now that the spirit is stirred. Beloved, you've done more than listen. You've answered a call. You've walked the halls of your home like a priest with a prayer, like a prophet with purpose. You've remembered what the world forgot, that protection isn't always loud, that power doesn't always shout, that faith doesn't always require a crowd, just a grain, just a whisper, just a willing heart. You've turned salt into shield. You've turned rooms into altars. You've turned a simple act into sacred warfare, and now heaven honors it. On July 12th, or whenever you feel the divine tug, return to your thresholds, return to your corners, return to the heart of your home and place again, not just salt but intention, because this is more than a ritual. This is the beginning of a lifestyle. This is the return to ancient rhythm, ancestral knowing, and spiritual alignment. This is what it means to be the gatekeeper of your peace. And now, take your salt, bless it, pray over it, not out of superstition, but from sacred intention. Let every grain carry your voice into the unseen. Place it in the 5 sacred rooms, the entrance to guard your threshold, the kitchen to bless your provision, the bedroom to restore your rest, the bathroom to release your burdens, the living room to filter your energy. Speak the words, feel the shift, say the prayers out loud or in silence. God hears both. Do it on July 12th when the veil is thin and the heavens draw close. Or do it any day your soul needs peace. And if it moves you, share it. Let others remember. Let the world reawaken. Use the tags, #July 12, blessing, #Salt and Sanctuary, #Sacred Home, #Faith in Action, #Protection Prayer, or simply sit in silence afterward. Let the angels move.